Hey everyone. Before this devlog starts, I'd like to say a few things. First of all, no, I wasn't called out for anything. I'm not a criminal or anything, or like a diddler or whatever. These are just things that I wanted to say of my own volition that I feel need to be addressed. Again, I wasn't called out for anything. I'm not a criminal. I'm not, I wasn't, nobody attempted to cancel me, none of that. I just wanted to say these things because I feel like they're important and I feel like they need to be said at some point or another. If you don't care about this and you only want to see the devlog, then that's totally fine, in which case you can skip to the timestamp shown on screen, or if you can see chapters, then you can skip to the chapter that's labeled devlog. Anyway, I would like to start off by saying that for a while, I've tried separating depth spelunking from minus descendants or minus elevation through what was basically hard coping. I always said things like DS isn't a fan game because I was, in a way, pretty blinded by frustration and a wanting to be separate, that I just sort of deluded myself into believing DS was its own thing and not a fan game. I saw someone point out that it's kind of bullshit to not call a game a fan game when it has entities from other games. Specifically, Wanderer is originally from Descendants and Elevation, and I have him in Depth Spelunking, which, by the way, I got full permission from Element to use in Depth Spelunking, as long as I'm not like stealing assets or whatever. But it was pointed out to me that it's kind of bullshit that I say it's not a fan game, and I realized that I have been a bit of a dick about it. I've been telling people it's not a fan game, shut the fuck up, and all that stuff. I was deluded. I was literally deluded, and I was so convinced that DS wasn't a fan game that I tried to force other people to think the same way, and that was genuinely kind of fucked up of me. I don't know what I was thinking. When you make something inspired by or based on something else, or a fan game, people have the right to compare it to its source material. And as I've been reflecting and going to therapy, I've just come to accept that I'm an idiot. Like, I'm just a straight up moron. And DS is fundamentally a fan game. And I don't know why I tried calling it everything but that. And I don't know why I tried separating it for so long. So that's my apology video. Like and subscribe. Anyway, second of all, I've realized that I have been a bit of a dick in my server when it comes to responding to feedback. More infamously, brushing it off as like a skill issue or something. And this was really dumb of me. When Depth Spelunking blew up during the second public test, I was insanely overwhelmed. Overwhelmed and anxious to the point I literally threw up due to set anxiety, and I wasn't sure what to do. And because of this anxiety and pressure and all that stuff, I made a lot of bad decisions, right? Like, I was doing a lot of things that I shouldn't have done. Before DS, my server was like, in a way, it was a little friend group. We all knew each other because the server was so small, and, we all hung out as friends. We all treated each other as friends, with friendly banter and all that stuff. And I thought continuing to do this would work fine, but it didn't, and I realized this a little too late. And I'm not going to behave like this anymore because it is immature and stupid of me. I've realized that many people also think I'm a dick or just a bad person in general, and I really don't want to be seen as that. I'm actively working on myself and the way I am. This is why I go to therapy. Lately, I've been feeling like I've just been the worst version of myself, and that's exactly why I'm going to therapy. I'm talking to my therapist about it, and to some close friends and family. And I've been actively trying to work on myself because the stress that this has brought me has made me do a lot of things I would never do. It has, in fact, turned me into a dick, and I don't want to be that. I am... the way I've behaved these past few months may make it seem like I'm just a shit person. But as I said, I'm going to therapy actively to make sure I'm not like a shit person. I'm trying my best to not be a dick. I am a very anxious person, and I do suffer, from lack of a better word, from a lot of mental issues and a troubled life. And while this does not excuse what I did, I hope it can at least explain my actions. It may seem at times that, I don't really care about DS or that I'm being greedy or lazy, but I'm really not. I love working on depth spelunking. I love working on game development, and that's exactly why I want to study game development in university, right? Because I love creating. I love video games, and I'd love to create a video game that can bring someone happiness or joy, something that someone can enjoy. And I've been pouring my heart and soul into making depth spelunking the best I possibly can. I've even pulled all-nighters and losing sleep and skipping school to work on this game for like 3 years now. And I do want to keep making depth spelunking the best game it possibly can be. And to do that, I guess I need to work on myself as well. I want to preface this by saying I'm not taking a break. I'm not going anywhere. I'll just be busy for a few days since I'm moving. But other than that, I'll still be around. I'm actively working on myself, and I'm trying my best to be the best version of myself I can be. And I'm working as hard as I can with my team to make sure Depth Spelunking is the best game we can make it. That's the end of this little prologue. It's a bit longer than I hoped it would be, but it's fine. On to the actual devlog now, since this is what you came to see. Thanks for listening if you listened this far. Oh shit, okay, so main devlog shit. Hello everyone. I think this is fairly common knowledge by now, but the next public test of Depth Spelunking will be the open beta, meaning that the game will not close for any major or minor updates. It'll remain open until it enters version 1.0.0 or full release, which will close it again for like a month or two, hopefully not 2 months, hopefully just a month. And that's when we'll update the game, polish everything we possibly can, work on new stuff. And once all of that is done, Depth Spelunking will enter full release. So this is the last public test before full release. And as I said, it's going to be the open beta, so it's not going to close. It'll remain open, and we will constantly be updating it with major updates, minor updates, new content, bug fixes, all that stuff. We'll be constantly updating it. So the game will be open now for you guys to enjoy. When that will happen, I don't know. I will make an announcement when it does. Right now, we're mostly just ironing out bugs and adding new content. New content's been like fairly smaller additions, like a variant of an entity. The new floors I wouldn't consider really small, but I added a new mechanic that's called anticipation, where at the start of a new run, a random quote will appear, similar to like Pressure, if you've ever played it. It is inspired by that, and some of the quotes are directly from Pressure, because I love Pressure, and it's like one of the best games on Roblox of all time, in my opinion. It's just fantastic. I love Pressure. My wife, Sebastian Solis. Anyway, we also added a tutorial NPC to the lobby. I was fairly against adding like just a straight up tutorial that's like, hey, go do X thing, and then you go to the next floor. I think it's better if you experience it firsthand. And while the tutorial guy NPC does tell you how to play the game, it doesn't give you like a direct example, right? Like you're just thrown straight in. Even then, it just gives you advice and tells you what to do and how the game works and stuff, which I think is a fair compromise. He is highlighted when you first join the game, so you're prompted to interact with him and all that stuff, so yeah. As of right now, there's only one new upgrade, and it's the Big Bad upgrade, which adds, it forces the next floor to be a boss floor. And speaking of bosses, there are 2 new bosses. I'm not going to say what they are yet. Well, if you're in the Discord server, you probably already know of one, but the second one, I don't think anyone knows about, so be excited for that. We also added the map bestiary, aka the Atlas, as it's known in game. You can access it through the terminal. To get information on floors, all you have to do is complete the floor, and you get like 10% of it. So you need to complete a floor 10 times to fully unlock it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. There's new, I think if you're in the Discord server, you've seen this as well, but there's new modals for Warden, Shrieker, Lurker, Gazer, and Drone. And Projected got a new set of animations. Um, all of the entities I just said, except Drone, were animated by Eyes, who is really good, and I've commissioned him a couple of times now to work on DS. A lot of new stuff in this update, like entities and stuff, were reanimated, and it was done by Eyes. So you'll see his work in game. It's really good, and I promise it levels up the quality of depth spelunking so much. No more furry avatar placeholders. Hooray. Although I was sent death threats for adding the new designs, but we don't talk about that. There's 15 new floors as of making this devlog. Again, as of making this devlog, a lot of things are going to change. Like, I'm just saying what we have so far. We're going to keep adding more, obviously, before the public beta opens. But I'm just saying what we have as of now. There's 7 new badges. I left my stuff, which you can obtain by reaching floor 15 with no starting items. There's Diligence. There's Better Together, which you can obtain by playing in a server with 3 or more friends. There's Humility, Lord of Snow, Kindness, and Check Him PC. Check Him PC is a funny one. If you obtain that one, please ping me on the Discord server, let me know. Post it on YouTube, do whatever. If you obtain Check Him PC, I'll like fucking shout you out or give you an exclusive item. I don't fucking know. Probably not an exclusive item, but you know, it would be. If you do it somehow, please let me know. I'd love to see it. Mimic got new sounds for aggroing, spotting, and killing. It also places a new sound when it transforms. Mimic now sounds more like an actual, like, I don't know what the word is, but in previous builds of the game, he used to sound like a zombie. Like when he aggroed onto you, he'd make like a zombie groan, and when he de-aggroed, he would make another zombie groan, and all that stuff. Now he sounds more playful, I guess. You'll see what I mean when you actually like encounter a mimic. Oh, this one's fairly huge. The dialogue in the lobby now has a skip button, which automatically skips to the end of the dialogue in case you don't want to sit through the entire thing. This was done because the dialogue can drag out for a while, and we added a skip button just so it's just a little quality of life change. A couple of floors got reworked or remade. The only ones I can say, are Overgrown Garden and Theater. The other 3 are rare floors, which I've posted in the Discord server, but I'm not going to say. Well, they're public information anyway, so there's no point in hiding it, but you know, I'm not going to say anything either way. We added small things to the death screen and the spectate menu. When you die, a special theme will play on this death screen, and when you spectate players, a special track will play. So special tracks were added for the death screen and spectating. Speaking of spectating and dying, players can't chat when they're dead now, so no more of ragdolls talking. What else? Oh yeah, there's a new intermission GUI. It's kind of bare bones right now, but it will be added onto in the future. We'll add like a depth meter and we'll make cool transitions and stuff. It's gonna be cool, trust the process. There's a new message of the day board in the lobby. I don't remember if I added this for the last public test. I might have, but in either case, there's new messages of the day and there's new tips in the lobby. And some of these tips have gotten colored text to hint at certain things. Once you know what they're talking about, it'll make more sense. We also added a sound for the elevator countdown when it's about to leave. This was done because when the elevator like leaves, it's fairly subtle. Like you'd never notice it. Like you see the text in the top change, and that's about it. So now we added like a countdown thing when it's about to leave, so it'll hopefully be more obvious and not like annoying, and you won't die because you didn't notice. So that's a one less thing to worry about, I guess. And also, another quality of life change is that the tracker item, we recently added a rework for it where it could track items and tasks. Like you could switch modes. And we added a quality of life change to it where it would display the mode it's on currently on its screen, which, cool. Speaking of tracker and items and stuff, there's 8 new items. 4 of those are starting items, and the others are consumables. They all have somewhat samey effects, I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, more variety, yippee! I think you'll be delighted to know that one of these is an info item, so hopefully an info grind will be less annoying. By the way, this is completely off topic for a bit, but the unclogged toilet task is real. You just haven't found it. It's a 1 in 1,000. You still have to find it. Ping me if you do. Onto some like minor changes and all that stuff. Generator GUI was slightly tweaked. It used to be like green for some reason when the game's like entire theme color is like red. Except for the open beta, the theme color is going to be green, but you know, red is cooler. And the generator also has new sounds when you complete it. It got like I added a little light on top of it that turns on when it's completed, so hopefully it'll be easier to notice when the generator's completed, aside from just the smoke. The sound design is pretty epic. I kind of like how it turned out. So yeah. I also updated every single bestiary portrait, and I rewrote every single bestiary entry. So instead of being concise and like boring, they're like long now. And they give lore. Like a couple of them do give a good amount of lore. So if you're a lore head and you like lore and you like reading, then go ahead. Also, I added a scrolling frame to the bestiary, so that long text is easier to read, and it's not just like a bunch of tiny text there, because the logs are pretty long now. So hopefully it'll be easier to read. Speaking of descriptions and stuff, most item descriptions in the lobby and in the shop have been made more concise. So they have like little flavor text like, this magical dice gives you a random consumable when rolled. And then it gives you like actual stats and information about the item through bullet points. So like, cooldown time of 60 seconds, grants the user +1 luck, roll to receive a random item, has a low chance to receive a consumable instead, stuff like that. All items got this change. And I hope it's like, you know, easier to understand instead of just one big chunk of text. That's kind of vague sometimes. There was a change to how many entities spawn per floor. It was only a very minor change, but the early game should be much more bearable with this change, I'm hoping. If it isn't, then I could just adjust it more, but, you know, I'm hoping. This is a pretty big change, actually. Warden can now hear invisible players. This change was made because de-aggroing a blind sound-based enemy by going invisible didn't make that much sense. So Phantom's Cloak or going invisible at all really, is still really powerful, but it cannot save you from absolutely everything now. So we'll keep balancing shit so it's not overtuned, but it's not like, you know, undertuned as well, you know? And also we will be buffing more items because I have realized that a couple of them are pretty weak. I will definitely add like shit items into the shop, like items that are just straight up shit. And this is because like, you know, it's a necessary evil. And also because I think using shit items could be fun for a challenge run or something. I don't know, could be fun. I'd like to see it, but that comes later. And clipboard spawn rates were increased. This is a pretty big one too. So clipboards are now more common. They should spawn on more floors. And additionally, up to 3 clipboards should spawn on a floor now. Not sure if this is the case yet, because to be honest, I haven't tested it, but you know, that's the change. Really, that's all. Yeah, that's all I have so far before the open beta. Again, this devlog is just what we have so far. After this devlog is uploaded, we might add more, like, I don't know, new entity, new items, and all that stuff that won't be documented in this devlog. But I'm just posting this as a way to, like, let you guys know that the project isn't dead. We're not dead, and we're not going anywhere. We're still working on this, and the main goal right now is to, like, get this out before or mid-October, like at the start of October or in the middle of October. That's the goal right now. And since I'm moving in, like, 3 days, I won't work on it as much for a bit because I'll be moving, and you know that's a pretty stressful time, but I'll be doing what I can. My team is working hard. We're all doing what we can, and we're aiming to get this out as soon as we can. So I appreciate the patience. Do not worry. In very little time, you will finally be able to play the game, and you will be able to venture down into the void. I don't fucking know. Poetic shit. But anyway, thank you for watching. We're not dead. And please be patient. we're almost done. And once we're done, it'll remain open. You'll be able to play as much as you like. Also, data will be wiped, but I forgot to mention this, but yeah, the video's over now. Okay, bye.
Yo. Yo.